to chaos. So, I think that looks pretty good. Today, I'm going to show you how to re-ink your ink pads. So they do get dry, and you'll know when they get dry because you have to stamp 2 or 3 times to get a good image. And it makes a big difference if you have a nice, what we call juicy ink pad. Juicy, I guess, kind of like a fruit, you know, you feel like it's just really lots of liquid in there. So I will be doing that for you. And then we'll have the drawing after for the stamp set that I'm giving away. And that's for people on my Facebook group, my VIP Facebook group. Okay, so this is going to be So Saffron. This is our ink, a re-inker. This is what they come in, and so basically the re-inkers are here. On this page in the annual catalog 142, you'll find all the colors, and you'll find the cardstock, the ink, the stamp pad, the refills, and then the Stampin' blends all together. I thought that was really cool that they put that all together. So that's where you'll find your re-inkers for your ink pads. I'll be using the sponge dauber as well, but you don't have to, but it's on page 147 is where you get your little sponge daubers, these little things right here. So let's get started. So here's our ink pad. This one's not real dry, but it's kind of dry. So let me get my block and we'll just take a look here. Okay, so let's just take a look now. This is my dry ink pad. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. But I want it to be more inky. So you take the top off, what I just did, and there's really no set way to do this. I can see there's a little bit of fuzz on my thing. This is how I do it, and you don't want to over ink it. So, and you can tell if your pad needs ink because it will like suck it up. If it doesn't suck it up, then it's probably not that dry. So I went back and forth this way, back and forth this way. Now I'm going to go back and forth this way. And it's important to get towards the corners too. And you don't want to get too close to the edge. Okay. So once I have done that, like I said, you don't want to, it's better to do less than more. Now this is the part that you don't have, I don't know if everybody does this, but I take a sponge dauber, and you can rinse these out later. I just use the color families, like I try to stay with yellows and orange and blues and greens and reds. I just rinse them and reuse them. Okay, and so this kind of moves it around so that it's more level in the ink pad. And I am getting closer to the edges because I don't want my pad to dry out. Okay, so now it is inked. Well, now I will take and put and see if there's a difference. I don't know if you can tell a difference, but that is so much richer, and that's acceptable. But this is so much better. It's much richer and bolder. Now there are some times when you get my wipes. I actually just took my. I have to use my old wipes because my new wipes I just took in the kitchen to take a picture. These are okay, but the ones I took a picture of are the real ones that you want to get. But these are okay. So I'm just going to use them to dab that. Now there are some times when, and I'll dry that off with my microfiber glasses. I got these with my glasses. You might over ink your pad and you're going to see bubbles. So I don't know if I want to do that or not, but I'm going to over ink this pad here in the center especially. And okay, so if you over ink, I'm getting ink everywhere here. Be sure to keep a baby wipe handy because you'll get it on your hands if you're not careful. You can tell that a pad is over inked when you, and I'm not going to dauber it because I want it to be over inked. When you go like that, you'll see bubbles. When you pull away, you'll see like a foam, like the sea foam bubbles. And then when you stamp, oh yeah, you're going to see like bubbles, and it's not going to be an even it's blotchy looking. That's how you can tell. You can see this one, and then you look at that one and see how blotchy it looks. And this really isn't over inked as much as it could be. But let's just say that, and sometimes you might even get a pad that's over inked at the factory. It does happen. I have gotten them. So in case you do, you'll know what to do. Let me dry that off. All you need to do is to take a piece of scratch cardstock and just pat your pad. And basically what you're doing, you see those bubbles? You're taking that extra ink off of there. So I'll set that aside to dry somewhere where I won't get it. And then I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to soak up that excess ink. And again, you can see bubbles. So that's, and you might have to do that 2 or 3 times depending on how much ink you put on there. I have an envelope here. I just use anything I can find. Okay. And that should do it. Let's see if that does it. Now I'm going to take my ink dauber and move some of that around. That should help. Yeah, sometimes you think stamping is a lot pretty involved. There is a learning curve. But once you learn all this stuff, it's like so easy. It's like second nature. You don't even think about it. Hi, Kay. So now let's do that again and see, now that we've taken all that ink off. And I don't feel like I wasted ink because that ink lasts forever. I am not prepared. Well, I don't really want to stamp on this, but I'll stamp on it anyway. All right, so now I'm going to, no bubbles, that's good. And then I'm just going to stamp. And there I go. Now I have a less, not blotchy, and as it dries, stamp ink when it's wet might look a little blotchy, but you don't want it to look a lot of blotchy. So that's good. So now you know how to put ink on a dry pad. You know how to take ink off of a over juicy pad, an over inked pad. So the other thing I want to tell you, and then I will wash this off so I can use it again, is when you have several of these inkers, it's not always easy to read them. You have to pick them up and look at them like this if you have a bunch of them together. So what I do, and you may have seen this, I get a color of the cardstock. This is So Saffron. This is just a regular 1/4 inch punch, your hole punch. You can get these anywhere. Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these anymore. This is a Stampin' Up!, but they don't sell that anymore. So, but this is just a regular sized hole punch. You're going to get that, then you're going to get your, where are you? Right here. You're going to get your mini stamp, your mini glue dots. And I'm going to see if I can use this. I've been showing you this. This is the take your pick tool, the sticky part. And I want to get it so the pretty part is on the top. I'm going to place that there. And then I can pick that up. And I'm going to put it right on top of this. And it's the perfect size. And so what that's going to do is I can look now, rather than have to pick that up and say, oh, that's so saffron, I can look just at the top and I'll know right away that's so saffron, or at least it's a yellow. It's a close to being a so saffron. So it's much easier to find your, I'm trying to figure out where that yellow is coming from. It's much easier to find the color that you want if you just take the time to do that when you get a new re-inker from Stampin' Up! Okay, I think that's it. Thanks for joining me